Hi, I'm Jadon, a product designer with SiteStacker, and today we're going to take a look at how to configure a search module. A search module is a module on SitePlanner that you can publish to a web page, which will allow users to search for any kind of content type, whether that be a missionary, project, or even an event. Let's go ahead and take a look at what a search module looks like. Search module will of course allow you to search, filter, and below it will present your results depending on the content type that you select. To configure and publish this, let's go ahead and start by going into the Site Planner component. We're going to drop down both the Site Plan and the Content Explorer. First, we want to locate our page that we want to publish this module to. On the left side, we want to go into the modules folder, and we're going to be inside of the search folder. Keep in mind that everything inside of the modules folder is a module type. So you can look under type and see that it's all module type. So you can put a search module inside of the newsletters folder, but we want to just make sure for organizational purposes, we put it in the right folder. So in this case, we're going to right click on the search folder. We're going to select add item. This is the window where we'll select what kind of module we want to create. So in this case, we want to do a search module. So we're going to put search results. And then for the view, we're going to select responsive. For the name, it's important to put what kind of content that this module will hold. So we'll put search results and then missionary. Below that, we can keep it all users and published. And then you're good to save. And now all the configurations will show up. So you can see it's a pretty extensive page of different settings that we can add to our module. Before we dive into all of the settings that you can apply, I'm actually going to go ahead and just save and close, and we're going to publish it first. The reason I want to publish it first is so when we apply any configurations or settings to our search module, we can already see it on our page and see the changes that we're making. So after I've created it, I'm going to locate it in my folder, and we're actually going to need to add a wrapper first. So I currently just have a blank page. If I preview my page right now by right clicking and selecting preview, you can see there's no wrapper or anything. Usually you'll already have maybe your space created for this or your wrapper created, but I'm going to go ahead and do that real quick. And if you're not familiar with creating wrappers, then you can watch our overview of wrappers video. So now that I have a wrapper set up with just some general padding, I'm going to go ahead and take our search module and drag it in. And then you're just going to save and close. And let's refresh our page. And there we go. So we have our search module, but there's nothing generating out of it because we still have to configure it. So we're going to go back into Site Planner. We're actually going to right click on that and select edit. And that window with all our configurations will pop back up. So the first one under module config is the query placeholder. And what this is the text that will, the default text is what I call it, that will go inside of the module before you actually type in it. So usually I'll do something like search for a missionary or search for a keyword, something like that. So let's save that and refresh and see how that looks. So that's the default. And then once you type in there, that'll disappear. The next part is initially show and exact match. So initially show will be similar to this one we saw in the beginning, where all the content is shown before we even search anything or add any filters. Exact match will be, so if I search in here and I search Santi exactly, then this child will pop up, right? But sane wouldn't pop up because it's not an exact match. Under paging settings, you have the default limit. That does exactly like it sounds. It's going to add a limit to how many can present. So if I have this on, say, a home page or a give page, and I don't want it to be endless scrolling of all the missionaries, then you can add in a limit of maybe 3. So it will only take up this little section. And once we add our content into the module, then you'll be able to see kind of what I'm talking about here. But we'll go ahead and set that to 3. The paging type is going to decide whether this just is endless scrolling or you can have a toolbar. So it looks like this module is endless. Oh no, there we go. It has a toolbar at the bottom. So we're actually going to hop down real quick under sort initial results. Right below that, we're going to go to where it says content type configurations, and we're going to select our content type. So if you don't already see the content type in here, then you're going to have to go into manage configurations and select add. Then you're going to put in the name of the content. So say you're using the typical missionary content type, the missionary summary and detail view, but you're doing it for staff members instead of missionaries. Then you would put staff, you would choose your content type, which would be missionary, and then the site channel, which we're working in the Christian mission one, and the view is going to be summary. You can use other ones. I definitely recommend using summary most of the time, depending on what kind of content you're presenting. And then you can save and close. And so now I have my staff content type in here. When you close your manage configurations window, it'll show up in the dropdown. In this case, I'm going to go back in and remove that just because we don't need that one right now. And we're going to select missionary. And so now when I save, and if I have initially, we're going to need initially show checked and refresh. There we go. Now my content is actually showing. And then if I put exact match on and save, and say I search Jessie, but I spell it with a Y, she's not going to pop up. But if I get rid of that exact match, save, and then I search again, then you'll see that Jessie will come up. So I really think that keeping that exact match unchecked is probably going to be the best case, because if someone doesn't spell it right or something like that, then it's perfect. It'll show up. You'll also see that if I set this limit and put paging toolbar and refresh, it's only going to present 3, and it's going to give me this toolbar at the bottom. I can also manage what that toolbar has by, if I want it to have show all, I can check that. Save and close and refresh, and now you have a show all button, which will ultimately present all your missionaries. In this case, we're going to switch it back to infinite paging. The sort initial results is kind of what it sounds like. You're just going to select what you want to sort by, so that can either be by the published date or the campaign amount. There's some examples in the description right below it, and you can choose the direction you want to sort it. But that's going to be when you initially load that page. It's going to sort those missionaries or whatever content by what you put in here. This list of configurations right here are pretty important to know, just because they allow some different functionalities with the search modules. So the search reset is just going to make sure that after you clear the field, it's going to reset your results. The no search will ensure that there's no field. So there's some cases where you might want the list of missionaries in the toolbar, or just like the list of missionaries to show up, but you don't want people to be able to search, then you can do that. Show you what that looks like. And then you're also able to do vice versa, have no results, but just show the search. The no search field is actually exactly like the no search. Not sure why there's a double configuration here, but there is. And then there's the autocomplete when typing. So what this is going to do is complete your search as you're typing it. Let's refresh. And you'll get that little drop down like that. And if I click it, it's actually going to take me to her page. If I add in that highlight, it's just going to change the way that little drop down appears. So let's refresh. And so when I search Jessie, it just has like that highlight there right above it. And the auto scroll is actually going to scroll me down once I search. So let's check that and save and refresh real quick. Jessie, and you can see it hold me down to where the results were. The site page is going to reroute you once you search. So if say I'm on the give page and I have this list of missionaries with a search module, and I'm searching, say Jessie, right? I'm not going to search that yet because we need to configure this, but I want it to reroute me to another page with the same search module. So you want to make sure that the page that you reroute to has the same kind of search module. For example, if I'm on the give, I'm making a missionary search, right? So I'm searching Jessie and a missionary search on the give page, but then I want it to reroute me to the missionaries page. We can do that. So save that, So right now, I'm currently on the page that we created, the search module page. But if I search Jesse, it actually rerouted me. You guys can't see my URL, but it rerouted me to the missionary page now. So this is basically just a redirect to another page. There's our content type configuration. And then this is just a title for the filters you can add in. And then the exclude tags is actually going to be, so if you add tags to your search module, but once you search, you don't want the tags to apply, you would check this. The sort section here is similar to what we saw above with the sorting, except this is going to apply to all results instead of just initial results. So you can see this one's for initial results. Once you land on the page, this sort will apply even when you're searching. So if I search Jesse and Michael, and Jesse was published first, and I put published date inside of the sort by, then Jesse would appear first because she was published first. Right below that is the tag category, which is actually a very important one to know because most times you want to add in some tags to a search module. That definitely happens quite a bit. So say for missionary, I want to add in a region category. And then you can also select what specific tags in that region category you want to choose. So if I just want Africa and Asia, I can select that. These configurations kind of have to do with the filters here. So if you want to hide some of the labels or you want an apply or reset button to your filters. Now where those filters will be added are right down here in the custom filters section. First thing you want to do is select add, and then we're going to put the label of our filter. So if we want to filter by region, and then you choose your data source, whether you have it in as a tag, a data group, or just CRM basic data. Regions are usually by tag, and you select what kind of filter you want to add in. So I'm going to stick with combo box, but I can show you what those look like. And then your inner and outer condition are just going to be if you want to do or tags or and tags. So like if you want this and that, or you want this or that kind of thing. Hopefully that makes sense. And then what you'll do here is save and close, but you'll still need to attach the tags to it. And you'll do that by right clicking on the filter and then selecting manage assignments. Whoops. And in the tag category is where you will put the region tag in our case, and then you can select the exact tags. So all the tags that you want to add in. And save and close. And now when I save and refresh my page, you'll see my drop down now, my filter. Let me go ahead and clear Jesse out of there. So this is what the combo box looks like. And if I go in, change checkbox, and then I refresh, you're actually going to have your filter appear like this now. And multi-select will look like this. So you can select multiple within that drop down. So that's how you'll change the way your filters present. And then there's a couple configurations here for how the filters will function. So if you want alphabetical ordering, or if you want just results that match your filters that are selected. So then below that, you have fields that will present by your search module. So if I want to add additional text that says, you know, search for a missionary and make an impact, or whatever you want to put here, just doing this as an example, then it will appear in the module. And of course you can do all your styling and such there. So there we go. You just learned how to configure and publish a search module. For more videos like this, you can go to sitestacker.training or watch more videos on our YouTube channel @SiteStacker.